You meet two people at the same party. One of them says something slightly rude. You laugh it off and move on. The other says the exact same thing, in the same tone, and you quietly decide they are unpleasant. Nothing about the sentence changed, but the real answer is far stranger, and it starts with something you noticed before either of them even spoke. You probably think you judge people by their actions, but underneath that story, your brain decided who they were within a fraction of a second, based almost entirely on how they looked. Psychologists call this the halo effect, first formally identified by researcher Edward Thorndike in 1920. Thorndike was studying how military officers rated their soldiers and noticed something strange. Officers who rated a soldier highly on one trait, like physical bearing, also rated that same soldier highly on unrelated traits, like intelligence and leadership, without evidence for either. One positive impression was bleeding into every other judgment. Your brain does not evaluate people trait by trait. It builds one overall impression, then forces every new piece of evidence to agree with it. Now apply that to something as simple as a face. Researchers Karen Dion, Ellen Berscheid, and Elaine Hatfield ran a now famous 1972 study. Participants were shown photographs rated as more or less attractive, then asked to guess personality traits and career success. People consistently rated attractive faces as kinder and more competent, despite having zero actual information about who these people were. Here is where it gets stranger. This is not a conscious decision. Nobody thinks this person is attractive, therefore trustworthy. The judgment happens instantly, automatically, beneath your awareness. Your brain treats attractiveness as evidence of good character, even though the two have no logical connection. Why would evolution wire your brain to make such a strange leap? Some researchers point to the beauty is good stereotype, the idea that symmetrical, healthy-looking features may have once signaled genetic fitness. A brain that quickly associated attractive features with vitality and competence could make faster social decisions. The problem is, that shortcut never learned the difference between health and honesty. This bias does not stay confined to first impressions at a party. Researchers studying courtroom outcomes have found attractive defendants often receive more lenient sentences for comparable crimes. In hiring studies, attractive candidates are rated as more competent, even with identical resumes. Isn't it unsettling that a courtroom, a job interview, and a classroom, three places built around fairness, all show the same quiet bias? That is the halo effect at work. Not maliciously, just automatically, running beneath decisions people believe they are making objectively. There is a deeper twist here, and it involves forgiveness. Studies on social judgment have found people are more willing to excuse bad behavior from attractive individuals. A rude comment gets reframed as playful. This is sometimes called the attractiveness leniency effect, meaning attractive people are held to a lower behavioral standard once judged. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. When people consistently treat someone as competent and worthy of forgiveness from a young age, that person often grows into those expectations because the social world kept confirming a story that started with facial symmetry. Here is a twist that should genuinely surprise you. The halo effect is not limited to physical beauty. Research has found the same pattern with confident vocal tone, tall height, even neat clothing. Anything your brain reads as a positive signal can trigger the same cascade. One good impression overwriting your ability to judge everything after it on its own merits. This also explains why a single strong first impression in a job interview, a first date, a new friendship can be so difficult to undo later. Once your brain builds that initial halo, it does not easily let contradicting evidence back in. It filters new information to protect the story it already told itself. None of this means you are doomed to be manipulated by first impressions forever. Awareness is the interruption. Once you understand your brain is running a shortcut, not a verdict, you can pause before letting a first glance decide a full character judgment. Ask yourself, Am I responding to what this person actually did or to how they looked when they did it? So the next time someone's rude comment slides right past you, pause and ask why. Was it actually harmless? Or did it simply arrive wearing a face your brain had already decided to trust? You meet two people at the same party. One says something slightly rude and you laugh it off. The other says the same thing and you quietly judge them for it. Nothing about the sentence changed. Now you know exactly what did.